All right, my friends, welcome to Walpole, New Hampshire. We're gonna be visiting these guys, Bensonwood Homes and Unity. This is a fascinating, very old company. We're gonna meet Ted, the founder of the company that I remember watching in the 1980s when he was on this old house. But this climate's very different. And this company's interesting in that they build around this area, yes, but they also ship their components, their packages around the entire US. But if I look at Walpole, New Hampshire, we're looking at summer times of 80 degrees, let's say, with a low of the 50s, so you can throw your windows down and cool your house at night. Winter times are pretty cold though. The average wintertime temperatures in the 20s, lows in the teens. They get about 45 inches of annual rainfall here in Walpole, New Hampshire. The average US city gets about 38, so we get a much rainier climate here. This is gonna be a company that's gonna be focused on detailing and waterproofing. They also get 56 inches of annual snowfall, so they're probably gonna have some good details for well-insulated walls that we're gonna see on this episode. Now we're gonna check out their original facility here in Walpole. We're gonna go over to Keene, New Hampshire and check out their big manufacturing facility. And at the end of the episode, we're gonna go out to a job site and see one of these houses under construction. With that being said, how to build across America from Walpole, New Hampshire. Let's get going.
Build Across America, a Build Original series, is brought to you by Arclin, Builders FirsSource, Huber Engineered Woods, Pella, Truss, and Viewrail.
Hey friends, in today's episode of How to Build Across America, we're diving into building homes that can stand up to the challenges posed by unique climates. From coastal areas to dry deserts, the materials we choose play a huge role in the durability and safety of our homes. And a product I've recently encountered making game-changing impact in fire resistance is Arclin FirePoint. This is a revolutionary sheathing solution that meets our mission of thinking beyond code to set new protection and durability standards for builds. FirePoint, engineered by Arclin, uses advanced intumescent technology to slow down the spread of flames, providing up to 53% more fire resistance than code requires. This patented technology helps buy critical time for residents to evacuate and first responders to act, up to 90 minutes on a 60-minute rated wall assembly. And oh, by the way, this is on a plywood base. When we install this on the job site, the framers are installing it just like they have been with sheathing for decades, right? There's nothing weird, there's nothing sensitive, we're not worried about water. This is a really bomber assembly. Whether you're building in a wildfire-prone area or designing to withstand house fires, FirePoint delivers unmatched flame spread protection. But it's not just about fire safety. FirePoint makes building faster and more efficient. It can eliminate the need for shaft liners and gypsum in certain assemblies, reducing material costs and labor while elevating fire protection performance. It's lightweight, easy to install, and works with any exterior cladding material, making it a great solution for builders and architects working across various regions. As we continue to explore building science across the country, FirePoint stands out as a product that not only enhances safety, but makes your construction process more efficient and cost-effective. FirePoint is a solution that provides peace of mind knowing that your building is better protected while also meeting the demands of your specific project, no matter the climate. Protect what matters most with FirePoint. Oh man, so good to get back here. It's been a few years since I've seen Ted. There he is!
Hey Matt, how are you?
Ted, how are you?
Good to see you.
You look a day older than the last time I saw you, my friend.
And you haven't aged a bit yourself.
I appreciate that.
Lucky for both of us.
So for those who don't know you, Ted, in Bensonwood, you guys are a really interesting builder in that you have an incredible woodworking shop. You do incredible timber frames. You also have this amazing factory not far from here that I think we're gonna get to go see later, where you're building these incredible high performance envelopes. But you have such an amazing craftsmanship story here that I really want these people watching the series to understand all the capabilities of Bensonwood. Would you first maybe tell us the couple brand names that people know you as?
Yeah, so we started as the Benson Woodworking Company way back in 1972, but over the years it sort of migrated into Benson Wood. as we expanded our operations
Gotcha.
and our skills and our capabilities,
Yep.
it went beyond woodworking,
Yeah.
so the name sort of evolved.
And-
But we also established a couple of other brands. One is Unity Homes.
Yeah.
That is our effort to build a very high quality, affordable home that is fossil fuel free.
Love it.
Yeah. And then there's also a Tectonics brand where we work with architects to use their designs in our building systems in a partnership.
So you really have kind of three public faces in a lot of ways. You've got Unity, which is really the least cost, fabulous home that you guys build. I kind of liken these guys to Toyota a little bit, where you've got a Toyota brand and a Lexus brand, right? So we've got Unity, then we've got Benson Wood, and you've got a team of architects that can design houses. And I've worked with Tectonics, which is the other flavor of this group of amazing people that work with outside architects. And I've actually built 2 houses with you, Ted, over the years, utilizing outside architects and your components and your systems to build an amazing high quality house, but in Texas, not up here in the Northeast.
Well, that makes you one of our prime builder partners.
For sure.
Who are really critical to the quality of our work.
And I think that's something that I want people watching this video, Ted, to understand, is that you partner with outside architects and outside builders to do multiple projects like I have. In fact, I'd like to do more with you guys because I think you do such a fabulous system. But when I first walk into the showroom, the 1980s Matt Reisinger goes back in time to when I saw you on 1988 on this old house doing some amazing timber framing, and that's what's in here. You're seeing this exposed framing. These big timbers are the bones and the structure of the house. But today, you guys still do this, but the houses I built with you were still, in some respects, timber framed houses, but there was no exposed beams. Those are kind of hidden in the walls. Would you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So the timber framing that we're so proud of and we're a part of the revival in North America is an opportunity for clients to really see what we call livable structure.
Right.
So we celebrate that in the craftsmanship and the structure, but it's not appropriate for all homes.
Right.
So there's another approach where we can have, column and beam supports, kind of the same concept. You could call it post and beam instead of timber frame. And in that model, that support structure could be less celebrated, even hidden in eventual walls.
Right, inside the wall cavity. And speaking of wall cavities, one thing that I think you're known for, Ted, is big, super well insulated, excellent thick wall cavities. And I suspect we're going to learn more about this later, but look at this, guys. This is a typical Benson wood wall cavity where it's a thick, insulated cavity with some wood structure in there, but then also an empty service cavity that I would run all of my plumbing and electrical through. And I think one thing that I've loved about you and kind of knowing your career over the years and seeing you in all kinds of places, Ted for years has talked about we need to build houses that will last for hundreds of years, and then we need to make them serviceable and upgradable, or what I've kind of coined remodelability. You've been on the forefront of that for a long time, Ted.
Well, it's important to us. I've told the story many times of growing up in a house that was, changed my life, and it clearly was a really high quality building that lived in time well.
Yep.
It was worth remodeling and it was easy to remodel.
Yeah.
So over time, that's really become a focus for our company.
For sure.
We call it the core building, the core building that will last for 200 years or 300 years.
Easily.
That's what we do.
Yep.
And in this mock-up here, it's really important to understand that this part of the building is the 200-year proposition.
Right, right.
This part might change over time. That's where the mechanical systems are.
Sure, you might replace your siding outside, or you might pull off some drywall to replace mechanicals, but the main structure of the building should be strong, which also means you typically don't have interior load-bearing walls in your projects too, right? So even the floor plan could change.
Yeah, because floor plans might change, needs might change. So we really want to separate the core building from the infill.
Yeah.
The infill is short-term.
Yep.
The core building is long-term. If you think about it, really buildings actually have many layers. There's very short-term layers like furniture and fixtures and that sort of thing. And then there's longer-term layers like cabinets. But cabinets change over time.
Yeah,
people change kitchens and bathrooms.
After a couple decades, they're going to get ripped
Maybe
out.
a generation.
Right.
And so when you think about that, it's really important that we build with that in mind.
I love that.
And if we build with that in mind, then we know these core buildings can serve many, many generations, maybe centuries.
That long-term mentality that starts with you, Ted, I think has been infused in your whole company. I love that. I love the idea that my grandchildren might remodel this house someday, but they're going to say, thanks to my grandparents for building a fabulous house.
Yeah. So between our customers and ourselves, we think of ourselves as patrons to the future.
Love that.
Yeah.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Now you do some amazing woodworking here too, right? And I believe I've been here before. You have some woodworking in these shops back here. Could we take a peek at that?
Yeah, sure. We are still a woodworking company. We started out as Benson Woodworking. We still do that. It's still important. But just so you know, we're still focused on the long-term parts of the building, interior doors, stairs, those kinds of elements that are going to stay in the building for a long time. So Kent Rutter is here and he can give you a tour.
And it's after hours now,
it's after hours,
it's going to be quiet.
It'll be a little quiet, which is good. But I'm sure he'll give you a tour of some of the things that are going on out there.
Awesome. Let's go get a tour from Kent. I'll meet you in the shop. Kent.
Hey, Matt.
Thanks for giving me the tour, man.
Yeah. Welcome.
Good time to come because it's after hours. This is the only quiet time in the shop.
It's only you can hear us talking.
So besides being an incredibly beautiful building, you guys are also doing some beautiful craftsmanship in here.
Yeah, we do. We're into some entry doors, interior doors. We do staircases, trim packages, as well as another work center that has some outdoor furniture going on.
So you guys are more than just the envelope and the structure. You guys are also doing some fabulous woodworking.
Absolutely.
So tell me about this staircase. This kind of looks like the stairs in my house, but you're prefabricating them in the shop rather than on the site like I've done
it's a
for
closed
these
box
stairs.
stringer staircase with white oak treads.
And what is this box material, this white painted material?
This is African mahogany.
Oh, man.
So nice and stable and easy for us to work with and predictable.
And then you've got this nice thick 1-inch white oak tread on here. This is probably poplar, I'm guessing?
Yes, for paint grade, we're using poplar as a hardwood.
And if I could flip this over, I bet you've routed that stringer out. You probably glued and pegged it in.
It is. This comes off of our CNC machine.
Dang.
Yep, with provisions for wedges, so everything is super tight, glued and screwed.
And then this is pre-finished. That's why you're putting the ram board on?
Yes. A tendency on site for folks to use the stairs as soon as they're installed. So we like to protect them as long as possible.
That's really smart. I'm a fan of that ram board stair system as well. It works really well. The stair I want to talk about, though, that definitely shows off your craftsmanship is this beauty. What are we seeing here?
We are in the middle of producing a elliptical spiral staircase.
Wow, elliptical, so multi-twisting angles.
Absolutely, Matt.
And then does it change pitch here too? Is that what I'm saying?
Yes. So the elevation has a change of pitch for about the last 5 steps.
Goodness gracious, Kent, this is serious. So this is a glue up, it looks like, right?
We've got African mahogany that we've got 9 layers.
So this is African mahogany, and it's like 1/4 inch, 3/8?
A little less than 1/4 inch thick per layer so that it could bend easily around our form.
And then did you route this with the CNC as well?
These were routed by hand with a template.
Wow.
Yes. All the housings for the tread, so it will be boxed on one side, and the tread protrudes on the inside stringer.
So the inside stringer looks different. What is this material?
This is made out of a plywood product called Wacky Wood.
Wacky Wood, what is that? Can you show me a piece?
It's such a tight radius, so you have to have a product that can really bend along with what you need it to do. So this plywood has all of the grain oriented in the same direction.
Instead of opposite, that would make it strong. This is actually the same.
So your result is being able to twist and bend.
Whoa.
Really easy.
That is wacky. No wonder they called it Wacky Wood.
So for our inside stringer, we were able to use this with about a 7-layer glue up to achieve that tight radius.
That's incredible. So you've got white oak treads, white oak risers, all these twists and angles and everything's got to just end at a knife joint. And the whole inside's probably going to be exposed.
Yes.
Wow.
It is going to be painted, but fully exposed.
Beautiful. This is going to be incredible. Now, you're working with an outside architect, I suspect, on this one.
Correct. Their design, our engineering, and our fabrication.
Man, that's cool. How many projects that go out the door from Tectonics have your interior millwork as well?
Oh, I don't know. I'd say maybe half of them.
Okay, so quite a few.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, something to think about with this company. They have such incredible craftsmen, woodworkers, that this is not a timber frame company. Like when I grew up in the 80s and knew about you guys, I thought of you as that timber frame company, right?
Kind of rough and ready.
Yeah, but that's you're way beyond that.
We include the finer craftsmanship as well.
What an incredible tour, Kent. Thanks so much. Let's go see if we can find Ted again.
When we started the company in the early 1970s, we were a small woodworking, renovation, remodeling company here in southern New Hampshire. And in order to work in the local environment and the local economy, it was pretty important that we find a way to be accepted locally. And one of the things we learned is people hire people, not companies that they may not recognize. So on the advice of a friend, we were initially the Benson Woodworking Company. That's the way we started. And as we evolved through the years and became a larger company doing work across the country, and as our work became more complex beyond kind of the woodworking model, we eventually migrated that name to Benson Wood, which is where we are now. So the mother company is now Benson Wood, although the roots of it go right back to the 1970s Benson Woodworking Company.
Oh man, driving up here and seeing all these big white boxes being ready to ship out to the job just gives me goosebumps. That feeling when those arrived on the jobs that I've done with these guys, second to none. Let's go see if we can find Jay. There he is. Hey, Jay.
Hey, how are you, Mac? Let's grab some PB and get a tour going.
All right, sounds good. I'm gonna grab this one right here. Oh man, Jay, it's really exciting to be here. I've actually taken a tour with you before. It's been quite a few years ago now. But man, I'm super excited to show these guys your factory. You guys do some amazing work.
Yeah, it's great to have you back, Mac.
Let's show these guys how the wall assemblies and roof assemblies, floor assemblies come together, because I think that's gonna be really fascinating. Where do we start the tour?
Yeah, we're gonna take a small walk over here to our Speed Cut 3 machine. We actually ended up bringing our Speed Cut 1 over here now too. So I'll show you the products that aren't so one-person oriented, meaning, they're not 16-foot sticks. They're actually 36-foot sticks that we're hauling into our Hundigger.
Gosh, wow.
And so
that's wild.
We're using a glue-lam material, much like LVL, that are all stationed here for the different components. And we feel we get a really good yield out of 36-foot long sticks.
Oh my gosh, look at this lumber. Dang, that's big.
And
the little vacuum machine picks it up, I'm assuming?
Yeah, exactly. This vacuum machine comes out, has its picking order, and brings it to the infeed chain of our
So it knows, hey, this stack here is 2x6 by 36. This is 2x10, 12, whatever. And so it's smart enough to know, here's what I'm picking, and then that's gonna send over to this Hundigger saw, which I've seen these are in use all over the world. And wood manufacturing. These guys are amazing.
And so this is just shaping all of our material, right? We bring this in, and the great thing about our CAD work program is it's an automatic export. There's no XY axis. It feeds straight into the Hundigger.
Wow.
It saws, it shapes, it does mortise and tenons, it does pre-drills for us so the guys don't have to think about layout for those fasteners and the sticks of where they go in the assembly.
That's wild. And what am I seeing here? What's this being used for?
Yeah, so these are gigantic rafters, and I mean, you could probably understand how you might not want to haul these up on top of a building by yourself. And so we'll see in a moment, these get shipped over to our roof line, and this is the peak of the building, that's the eave of the building,
Okay.
and they're wrapped up in bundles. And it has a marking pen here to be able to establish where the sticks connecting will go.
That's wild.
It also has our subgroup, which is our panel number, and then
Okay.
the part number, and that coincides with all the PDFs they have on their tablets. All right, Matt, the last station we just saw was at the Hundigger. Now we're at the beginning of the roof line.
Okay, so we were cutting those I-joists for roof, and now you're actually turning this into a panelized roof that when I ship it to the job, it's fully complete and I'm just craning it into place, right?
Yeah, and you can see the carcass of one right here. This is the peak. That's the eave.
These are
and-
probably outriggers here, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and that's the great thing right here, waist level, right?
Yeah.
Not hanging over the building, trying to assemble these.
Yeah, that's huge.
And we're going to see in other stations that these can just get sheathed right over.
Jay, what is this lumber I'm seeing? This looks like almost like a thick LVL. I'm seeing like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 glue lamb style kind of buildups. What is this?
Yeah, so this is what we use for all of our straight material. We try to do this for overhangs. This is a glue lamb. It's from Nordic, and we get this from Canada.
I bet that stays
so-
nice and straight and strong, doesn't
Oh,
it?
it's great. And that is also our I-joist product, all of
Okay.
our I-joist products too. And we use it everywhere. You can see over on the far side too.
Oh, so
And-
the top band on the I-joist is also that same material.
Actually, no, those are just 2x3s.
Okay.
But the furthest one over, we have a 14-inch deep one.
Gotcha. And then I'm seeing a lot of your infill material is from Advantech. So that's that Huber Advantech that I would use for subfloor.
That's great.
And that works well in the structural capacity for capping that off, because eventually you're going to fill this with insulation, right?
Yeah, you're exactly right. So we use that as the same as our subfloor. It's a 7/8 product we use for all of our 2-foot on center.
This is fabulous. So we're framing that roof on a waist-high table, super good ergonomics, and then when we get it out to the job site, I just have big sections that get craned on site, that get joined together both structurally and in an airtight way, and this will be sheathed and insulated as well before I get to the
That's
job.
correct.
What a fabulous component.
And these
I love
guys are
this.
working off of tablets for all their shop drawings to minimize waste of paper, but also it records where we are in QR codes.
Oh, that's that tablet right there.
Yeah, and so we can see real quickly the different layers that these guys will use throughout the system, and they can zoom in, do whatever they like, and every single one has a QR code, and each individual also has a shop QR code with the station to track how much square footage is going through each line, each hour of the day. All right, Matt, our next station on the roof line is our sheathing station.
So that other one just rolled straight down, and then they're putting the zip system roof sheathing on here.
Yeah, that's correct. And so everything their job to do here is obviously the sheathing, but also to make each panel airtight here in the factory, while the individuals on site, their job is to make the whole house or those components airtight.
Got it. So in other words, the body of this is all airtight, and then where another component it joins later in the field, we'll make that airtightness connection.
Right.
And what are these? Are just for pick for the crane? Is that all we're seeing
those
here?
are picked. We're actually going to flip this when it gets insulated. It's going to flip the underside of the panel.
Gotcha.
But also for the crane on site, and we use a chain fall for that to be able to adjust the pitch of this so it lands appropriately on our frame.
Jay, I still have a time lapse from my very first build with y'all that I set up a bunch of like GoPro Hero 1s in the field, and I was shocked by how quickly this custom house got framed. I mean, from the time that we were delivering panels to the time that I was dried in on a 4,000 square foot custom home was something like 10 work days or something like that.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
That's what happened.
It goes just super fast. And y'all sent 2 carpenters out, and then I had my crew of like maybe 5, 6 guys, and man, they worked like clockwork together. Your 2 guys that were kind of captaining knew the system and guided it as like, you know, captains of the ship, and it was unbelievable putting these all together, getting that really good airtightness connection. I gotta say, a lot of things clicked with me on that first job 10 years ago with y'all in terms of like, well, that's how you get airtightness. You guys have been so far ahead of the curve compared to the rest of the industry. You're decades ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, and that's what we try to do at all times. Top and the bottom of our homes, you know, the in to out. And then, like you said, your 10 working days, we're really trying to get you watertight in those 10 working days so you can deploy all those other subcontractors in there and have it dried in-house in that time. For sure. Our next station is our cellulose station.
So this is where we're actually insulating, and this is the part that's going to blow some builders' minds, but all these roof assemblies, all these wall assemblies come pre-insulated from the factory. And what are we using? What is this fluffy stuff I'm seeing here?
Yeah, so this is actually made from cardboard.
Really?
So
this is like a wood fiber type product?
Yep, the main ingredient is cardboard. And
so it's not like newspaper cellulose, it's more like cardboard cellulose.
Well, there's a lot less newsprint in the country now, but there's a lot of Amazon boxes.
I can't tell you my recycle bin with Amazon boxes. My kids and my wife, I feel like every day I get an Amazon delivery.
But the main thing is it's a wood-based product. Right? Like the rest of our system, our sheathing, our eye joists.
It's all wood.
And so that hydroscopic material is mating up with these other components.
Yeah.
And if your building moves a little bit, shifts, it's not like foam's cracking or there's insulation voids, as you can see.
Yep. And how does this machine actually fill these cavities? Because we don't have sheathing and it's not like a blown system like I'm used to seeing with cellulose. How's it go from this brick right here to inside the wall cavity?
Yeah, so we actually place these on a pallet, and this is a large, we actually move the pallet right in here.
Oh, wow.
And push it up in an elevator. We've got to put that in there. So this is an elevator, and then there's these tines that scrape it off and put it into the hopper on the back side. Okay, Matt, we've seen the zip and the insulation, and now this is our last station.
So this just rolls on down after the insulation, and then what's this layer we're seeing here?
So this is our interior sheathing layer, and we're using it as a vapor control layer as well.
Yep.
So this is where we complete the sandwich and make this whole panel airtight.
So it's structure, vapor, and air control all in one. And what's cool about this is not an expensive component. This is the probably least cost component in the assembly, right?
That's right.
Yeah, but once you tape it, which actually I'm not familiar with this Partel tape. Where's this out of?
Yeah, this is from Ireland.
Oh, interesting, okay. So this tape is really making that continuous air and vapor barrier in the inside. And I don't know if we've said it already, but what's really cool to see about you guys, Jay, is that the same factory component you're building here could be assembled and work fabulous in Connecticut, New Hampshire, New England, or for me in Texas, because we've got a really airtight layer.
Yeah, that's correct. And you'll see on all of our components, we glue the whole perimeter prior to the tape. So all the edges are sealed on the perimeter, and then the tape goes on the seams.
That's fabulous. And the last thing I want to point out too is it's a 70-degree sunny day in the factory, even though it's crappy and rainy outside, right?
That's the thing, climate controlled, right? Freezing winter, which I know you don't have down there, but we do here. And yeah, it's been pouring buckets actually the last 2 or 3 days. So it's been great for these guys to be able to work in here.
And then after this component is pretty much ready to be wrapped and get ready out to the job site at this point, right?
Yeah, you can actually see these guys. They're ready to lift a panel up onto the next bundle.
So that same pick strap that's being used in the field, you're using it here in the factory, so the guys aren't breaking backs and moving these with hands.
Correct.
Wild, saving so much labor on the job.
And you can imagine, this panel right here weighs about 3,000 pounds.
Woo.
And so there's a lot of value in it being lifted in the air, and you know, you have a roof on in a day's time on the job site.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, Matt, before we go over to the wall area, we're gonna just go in reverse order here at the floor system area. And what you see behind you here is a floor system. This is about an 8 by 30 foot floor.
Ooh, that's heavy.
You can see we're using the vacuum lifters for the 7/8.
Yeah, that's right.
Advantech.
Oh, that's 7/8, not 3/4.
Yeah.
Got it, that's heavy.
And so it's heavy stuff.
It's beefy.
It's not easy for someone to handle, so it's so important that we do that here. And you can see as we walk down that we have just the framing layer going on here. So they'll frame here, slide down on the rollers, and sheathe.
Yep.
Now this isn't the only components we do here. We do site construction stairs. You might have seen that on your project.
Yep.
We do exterior open cavity roofs. So anything that doesn't involve insulation, this happens here.
Got it.
All right, Matt, now we're at the start of the wall line.
Oh, this is getting exciting.
Yeah, and so here we are with our custom panels, and we've got modules over here, and these are the door ROs or the window ROs that are being pre-built. And over here, we have the top and bottom plates, which are our long members.
Yeah, and they're wide too, because your walls are what, 10 inches, 12 inches thick?
Yeah, 9.5 inches thick. That can be expandable. We can
Right.
go higher R value. We might get into 11 and 7/8.
And you can go down to maybe 8 inch for some of your shorter?
Yeah, we go down to 6 if it's a larger commercial structure.
Okay.
And so behind me here is this extrusion machine is what I would call it.
Yeah, so this is top and bottom plate on a wall assembly. And then we're looking at components, I'm guessing, for the wall right here that are staged. So this is studs, basically, right? That I'm seeing on this side.
Correct.
And then is this a pre-built door assembly or door buck, basically?
So that's the pre-built door assembly. And you can see it in the foreground here. This has grabbed the bottom and top plate with a gripper wagon, and it's starting to extrude the product through the system.
So it's pulling it out, and also this one's no manual nailing. This is automatic nailing as well.
Yeah, and so we have an I-joist, right? It has a top flange, a bottom flange, and that's what it's doing. It's hitting the two top ones and hitting the two bottom.
Wow, that is really cool.
But like you said, if this is a 2x6, it would just go 1, 2, 3. So it knows exactly where it needs to nail. So this extruded to the next position. Albert's now putting in a new I-joist for a stud.
Yep.
And now that'll automatically clamp it and nail it off.
Man, that's cool to see. So one man is framing this giant, heavy wall with using the computer and this whole system.
And this is the fastest station by far. That's why
really?
we put a little bit more manual effort into doing these door components and window components to make those fit nicely in there.
That's fabulous.
All right, Matt, so after the sheathing station, our vapor control layer, we have our service cavity, which we call our open built system.
Yep.
And here, it's comprised of 2x3 components. You saw in our section that this holds up our second floor system at times.
Yep.
But it's got more purpose. We are able to run wires and pre-routed.
You pre-datoed those so the electrician's not drilling or messing with our air tightness layer.
Exactly.
He's just putting his wire right in there. And then this is deep enough to get a standard box in.
That's right.
It's 3 inches deep.
And we're able, like you said, we don't mess up our vapor control layer at all. Now this is also our shear layer. You see all the joints are taped already, and this goes over it. So it's a crucial part of our component. We're also able to, if you see right behind you there, we manufacture these, our own hold downs.
Wow, you made that yourself.
Yeah.
How cool.
So this, instead of being in the middle of the insulated cavity, we keep it on the warm side of the building or the conditioned side of the building.
Okay, Jay, let me break that down real quick. So this is our bottom plate right here. This 2 by, what is this, 12 basically? Or it's
10.
11? 2 by 10, okay. Then this is our OSB. This is our 2 by material right here. And then this hold down will get placed in here, structurally screwed into the framing. And then you don't have that Titan HD bolt in your pocket, do you?
I do, but that's not what's going there.
Oh, okay.
But it's similar. This would go in the bottom of a wall here,
Gotcha.
but this would get a 3/4 or 7/8 threaded rod in there, and we would drill into the concrete
Got it.
after all the panels are assembled
And epoxy that in.
the whole house, and then, like you said, epoxy that
And then
in.
that's your hold down, which is on the warm side of the wall
Right.
and fully accessible rather than trying to do it first.
Exactly. And you can also see that you can't totally see, but we have penetrations here. So this is we have conduit here that's going to either an outside floodlight or a receptacle.
Gotcha.
And so the electrician can just punch that out, slide the wire through, foam it up, and then we're air sealed.
Got it.
So
Oh,
we're
that's
not
really
messing
smart.
with the insulation
So that
at
hole's
all.
pre-drilled, in other words, right here. The last machine drilled that here, and then it got taped over just to keep it airtight and watertight for framing.
Exactly. And for our blower door test that we'll be doing.
Ah, I love it. Pre-mechanical
Yeah,
blower
yeah.
door test.
So Matt, we just flipped the panel from the interior, now we're at the exterior.
Yep.
And here we're insulating, just like we saw in the roof shop. So we've got a 9.5-inch cavity with dense packed cellulose.
Dang. And this is your pick strap right here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So this because it's a wall, we're picking at the top of the wall. And so we've got our 2 pick points for that crane. And then the next station, I think it's interesting to Jay to mention that you guys seem to be using more of the brown zip than the green zip. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, you got that right. So the brown zip or the red zip is 5/8.
Yep.
So it's a larger nail base for your siding or strapping that you're applying, but also for the engineering of a 2-foot on center wall.
Right.
So everything we do is advanced framing, 2-foot on center. It's got a better span for those, and so that's why we use it. And so just like you saw on the last station, this is a bridge that comes over, nails all the seams, 8 inches on center, 4 inches if it's a shear wall, and then it'll route the entire panel. And it actually has another assembly station. So if we're doing a wood fiber board, continuous insulation on the exterior, we apply strapping. It has an inkjet machine.
Oh, really?
And it's got another nailer that applies the strapping.
So pre-applied one-by material on here for our strapping, so the frame carpenter doesn't have to do that.
Exactly. So we just came from the exterior sheathing, and now these panels are all stood upright.
Yep.
We are prepping the panels or the rough opening for window installation.
Cool. Man, look at you. You are good with that tape, brother. I'm impressed. You've done this before.
I've been around a while.
And so this looks like might be a vapor open tape, is it?
Yeah, slightly, and so you can put stick renderings to it. That's why that fabric-y feel.
Yeah, gotcha. Meaning like a stucco or a cementitious coating on the outside. And is that a wood window with aluminum crowding we're seeing here?
Yeah, this is a wood-clad window.
Oh, this is Unilux, is that brand?
Yep.
Okay. And you do several different brands, double and triple glaze windows, I suspect, on these houses.
Yeah, mostly all triple.
Mostly all triple. Okay, cool.
Almost everything triple, just
Because
for
your
the high
walls are
performance.
so high.
We've got a
Why wouldn't we
high-performing
put a
wall.
high-performance
We
window
want a
in there?
high-performing window.
Yep.
And we want to get to electrification and net zero in all of our homes. While the wall panel is getting flashed, this is getting prepped. You can kind of see the installation of a window down here and some doors.
I think you said right before the camera rolled, this is kind of like a filing cabinet of walls that can be moved and shifted. Ooh, look at this.
Yeah, exactly. So this whole gantry, we call it, is really a buffer zone for being able to get all of this work done.
Oh, all my nerd friends watching this are absolutely loving seeing this. We got a full pan in the window, and then this is a European style window where he's making a flashing flange with the window. Also notice how the window's set back so it's about mid-span on the opening. There's actually some science behind that, right?
Yes.
In this location, because this window, even though it's triple glazed, is quite a bit less R value than the walls, which are super high. That's probably an R30 or plus, maybe.
Yeah, R35.
R35. What is this gray tape that's unbranded I'm seeing here? Is this also by Partel?
It is still by Partel, and it's a butyl tape.
Okay.
So very waterproof, and this is where we want it in the window, is in that window pan.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think the last thing I want to leave here while we're at the factory is these guys bring this full component. Man, I look at this wall assembly, and I think, man, they've thought of everything. They've got these pass-through sleeves where we've got electrical, everything's airtight, the windows are installed correctly. If I think about being a builder anywhere in America and being able to have you guys do all this in the factory and then my guys put the electrical in, put the plumbing in, put the hang the drywall, do the trim, I really like that. It means that I can get a fabulous, really high performance, really solid house that's gonna last for several generations and several hundred years, and then I can upgrade those components. You know, I'm gonna rip that siding off in 100 years, and I'm gonna have this beautiful exterior shell still in place.
Yeah, and it's the same with the inside, right?
Yep.
No load-bearing interior
Exactly right.
partitions.
Yep.
Pulling those out. You want to redesign, reconfigure, that can be done.
And a full service cavity that if I want to upgrade my electrical, plumbing, whatever, I can rip that out in 100 years and redo it, and I'm not touching that airtight insulated shell. God, Jay, so awesome to be here, man.
Good to see you, and you can be installing them as well.
I've done 2 of your houses, and I feel like I need to start doing 2 a year.
Yes, for sure.
Man, you guys do great work. All right, guys, now that we've seen these built in the factory, let's actually go out to a job site and see how these things come together. We'll see you at the job. All right, y'all, welcome to Sharon, Connecticut. Check this out, almost 300 years old. This is a beautiful part of the world We're about 3 hours away from the Bensonwood factory. This is typical for them. They're shipping all over the place. Let's go hit the job site outside of town here. See you there. All right, guys, let me introduce you to Amanda, the Director of Design for Bensonwood. Amanda, beautiful project here.
Well, thank you, and we're so excited to have you here, honestly. It's a real pleasure.
I'm thrilled to be on site. Now, this is your Bensonwood open home, right?
It is.
Help me to understand that. I like car analogies, so I kind of think of this, if I'm understanding this right, this open home with Bensonwood is a little like a Lexus, where you go build and price online, and you can make selections, and there are some parameters to it. Is that a good way to say it?
Yeah, absolutely. We think about it, clients don't necessarily want to start from the get-go of design from zero, so we're always trying to find ways to have the design process go quicker, save time, and so we've designed some product homes that have efficiencies and parameters on the design to make that all go faster, quicker, and also be less expensive than a custom home.
How many product homes are there? How many different floor plans and
Yeah,
styles?
right now we've launched our top 3. We have others in the background that we haven't launched, so there's more coming.
Gotcha. And how many Unity designs are out there?
There's 25.
Okay, so you got quite a few.
Yeah, quite a collection.
And so on this house, first off, I gotta say, I love this main house, outdoor space that connects to the garage. So this was that open home concept, but if I understand the factory right, only the outside walls are load bearing, which means you probably are able to kind of move and change and be flexible on the interior.
Yeah,
is that right?
Absolutely. And we want to do that we're thinking about this home as a 200-year plus home, right?
Yeah,
we have a really robust shell. And so who's going to live here after these clients move out? Maybe it's their kids, maybe it's somebody else. So we can move the interior partitions around. We do have some sheer walls we've got to contend with, but that's par for the course.
And when I look at the outside of the house, it looks like this was probably the walls were set not too long ago.
Correct.
And we're in the mechanical phase. And if I'm guessing right, based on some of the kind of stickers, the porch, the columns, all this framing was part of your package too, right?
Yes.
That's all shipped out and assembled as part of the process. Do you know how long it took the GC on this project to do this assembly and get it watertight?
So our raising was less than 3 weeks. And since then, it's been about 3 months.
Okay. It's fabulous. Great time to visit. Now, this is probably going to cause you some heartburn, but I'd like to actually see the garage first. I love a good detached garage. Man, this is fabulous. I love a good garage. This definitely tells the story from what we saw in the factory yesterday. So when we see these OSB walls with a tape on them, including like all this conduit sticking through, which it looks like is going to be for future services, this really tells the power of that Bensonwood shell, that system you guys have designed. I love it. Now we've got living space above, right?
We do.
So this has some I-joists, which is the floor. You've got this big beam coming across here, so really fully open garage. No steel in this garage, right?
Correct.
Is it true that there's no steel in the house too?
There's a couple of brackets. There's a little bit, but nothing structural.
Right, no big 4x4 columns or posts or
Correct.
steel I-beams or that sort of thing. It's really a wood-based system. And then these 2x3s are factory applied. That gives you that service cavity, which we're probably going to see in the house. I love it. And this space above us is what here?
It's going to be a guest suite, essentially. So this family has a large family, 4 children, and so it'll be a great opportunity for the kids to get away if they want to. Could be a TV room.
And so this wall separates, is there like staircase back there?
Right, there's living space behind, so that is an insulated wall that has a service cavity on both sides.
Let's actually walk around and see if we can give you a tour of that space. Oh, this is fabulous, Amanda. I like seeing this. So when we come through the door here, this wall is that fire separation wall between,
Correct.
This is also fully insulated and air sealed between living and garage space. And this is some kind of great utility space, it looks like, huh?
Right, it can be a flexible space because again, this is a product home, so people have different ideas for the use of this.
Yep.
In this case, it might be a workshop for somebody to tinker on their bikes, just extra storage, really.
Mini split system looks like, and this is probably a mini split head you're set up for. We've got a condensate line. We've got our 2 copper lines going out to head to the compressor outside. And then is this the finished staircase on the project?
No, this is actually a temporary stair that we build in our factory and ship out. So it's safe for our crew when they're raising, and then the general contractor can use it, and we rip it out when we bring our official stair in.
Oh, wow, look at this big space, Amanda. This is amazing. This really shows the power of your system with this big open concept here. And this roof line, like we saw in the factory, this is like R50 or maybe R60.
R51.
R51, that's amazing.
It's a 14-inch I-joist.
Also really like this. Look at this knee wall right here with all the services well into the insulated space. There's nothing going through a space like, oh, will those pipes freeze? But the other cool thing is if I ever need to rip these pipes out and replace them in 75 years, I've got great access to all this and never have to get into that shell.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're always trying to decouple the systems from the insulation so you get the full value.
I love that. That's really cool. Full bath up here, it looks like.
Correct.
Full bedroom space. And then check out that mechanical space above too. All within the conditioned envelope like it should be. There's no ducts outside of conditioned space. You'd be shocked how many Texas houses have ducts in hot attics outside of the envelope. It's pretty gross. And then it looks like we've maybe got an ERV up there as well.
We do. We have one ERV here and also one in the house.
And is that a ducted mini split that I'm seeing up there too?
Yes, it is.
So that's one of those, we jokingly call them pancake units or sometimes pizza box units. They look like about the size of 3 pizza boxes stacked up. Free online coming in, lots of different manufacturers. I've used a lot of Mitsubishi over the years. And so you don't have a whole lot of load here. We just need a real small system.
Exactly.
That may be like a 1-ton system is all it needs for this space. Beautiful. Now we should probably go see the main house.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, we'll meet you over there. So I'm guessing this was our temporary construction door, but you also, because it's taped, I bet you did a blower door test in this house.
We did just recently, yeah, and it came out great. It was a 0.46.
Dang.
So, yeah, below passive house level.
Tight, amazing. Do you happen to know what our R value on the walls are? You said the roof was R51 on this.
Yeah, so out of the shop, they're R35. They have 9.5 inches of dense packed cellulose, and then in the field, the contractor can do additional insulation and get it up to R45.
Dang, so like a full layer of exterior insulation if you wanted to.
It would actually be in the service cavity.
Oh, okay, so
yeah,
you can pack that 3-inch service cavity as well.
You can do blown in.
R35 is pretty tight, and if you've got a 0.41 ACH50, this is a heck of a house. You're probably close to passive house on this, I would suspect, with maybe a tweak or two. So talk to me about this house when we walk in. I'm used to seeing basements and framing in this part of the world.
Right.
But I'm on concrete. What's going on here?
Right, so this is a slab on grade, and we decided to do that for a couple reasons. Bensonwood really does prioritize using less concrete, and this is one way to do that. It's a very intensive process, and so for environmental reasons, we're trying to eliminate as many basements as we can.
Oh, interesting.
And clients actually are really coming around to the idea because oftentimes basements can be an area where you're just collecting extra stuff, and so this is a way to keep clients accountable for.
So your dark basement that may be prone to leakage, that you had to pay to excavate, that you may not use, why not eliminate that, save the money, save the concrete? That's fascinating.
Yeah.
We're still in a cold climate though, so I'm guessing, and maybe we can ask the builder when we meet Mason here in a minute, but we probably have like a 42 or 48 inch stem wall around here that goes
below
down
frost.
below frost. And then I suspect it's fully insulated on the outside, and this slab probably has insulation underneath it as well.
And also the garage too, because we know that there's living space. We're trying to keep the delta between the temperature in the garage and the living space above to be as minimal as possible.
Smart. And then when it comes to heating and cooling, I'm seeing ductwork, so this is probably not radiant in-floor here.
Correct.
But you could do that.
You could definitely. In some of our houses, we do radiant heating and cooling in the slab.
Yeah, gotcha. And then now we can really start to see wiring in that service cavity. I suspect we're seeing plumbing even in some places. And then these interior walls that are non-load bearing, are these framed on site or are these framed in your factory?
Yeah, in this particular case, they were framed here, but we can provide the interior framing as well, so you can have the opportunity to eliminate the entire framing crew, which can be convenient for certain locations.
Yeah, that's great. And you guys, when they build, by the way, if you don't know this, they send out usually a 2-man crew from Bensonwood that helps with a local crew.
Correct.
So,
and the help with actually bringing out our crew is we can train up local crews, and then that helps in our build partnership. When we have repeat GCs we're working with, then they know how to help raise the building as well.
That's fabulous. First floor mechanical room. So this might be in a basement in another house, but here it's right in the center of this first floor area. So we've got HVAC systems in there, probably fresh air, all that kind of stuff.
Yep. And we also have a hot water heater and some electrical into the garage as well under the stairs.
Gotcha. And then speaking of stairs, this looks like the staircase next door. I suspect this is a temporary as well, is it?
Yeah, it is.
So this is put in for the framing crew, for the trades now.
Exactly.
And then will you ship out a finished set of stairs, or is the builder going to do that on this
No, we
project?
will. We'll actually build both sets of stairs in our factory and then ship them out.
That's fabulous. Let's talk again a minute about this kind of Bensonwood open home versus Bensonwood custom. You've got an 8-person team on the design side. And so this client selected this kind of floor plan, this idea that already had some of this shell and the idea there. Is this an hourly thing to work with them?
Yeah, so
did you do interiors or not? Will you answer some of those questions?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, so this product home is a fixed price fee, so it's anywhere, it ranges between $50,000 and $80,000, depending on the level of modification.
That's very cost effective.
Yeah, and it's a great way. A lot of our clients are looking for sort of parameters and less decisions, so they can eliminate decision fatigue.
Yeah.
We also do help with the interiors. We have pre-selected and pre-curated finishes that clients can choose from, and it just
fabulous.
Makes the process go so much more quickly.
So you did full interiors, full plans, elevations, all
Yes.
that on this house?
Yes.
For a fixed price. That's impressive. And did you actually come out and figure out siting on the lot? Was that all done with the GC? How did that process work?
Yeah, we initially came out to the site when there was nothing here, and then we worked with the plan and the clients to get it kind of in the right general vicinity, and then the contractor comes out and he stakes the building, and then we tweak it depending on, does it need to be rotated, and we're really paying attention to light and views. So this house could only be built here in that sense. It's very specific to this site.
Let's go see this fabulous space beyond in this living room.
Sounds good.
Wow, Amanda, this space is unbelievable. I mean, the views through these windows to this field, the mountains beyond, the light on 3 sides, these incredible wood beams. This is incredible.
Yeah, so this is the kitchen, living, and dining room space. So we've got the kitchen stacked over here. The dining room is facing the views to the south, and then the living room has views to the east and also to the south.
We're also seeing that ceiling strapping, bringing that ceiling down so that we can actually run some ductwork through there. We've got some nice cans hidden in that space. And then if we flip around, we're seeing this utility duct space above as well. And then this kitchen is beyond us into this space.
Right.
This is really cool. I like this a lot.
Yeah, it's nice to have a flat ceiling in a kitchen. You can do lighting, and it just makes things a lot more convenient, brings the scale of the space down a little bit.
Yeah, this is really nice. How much did these clients change on this floor plan that we're seeing here compared to the kind of initial idea and plan concept from the open home?
So the exterior walls are really fixed in this plan. So what we fussed with was the window locations and the sizes, and it was specific to this site. We really wanted to prioritize the backyard and these east views. And you can see even on this north corner, we've kind of blocked out a certain area because we don't want to see the neighbor.
Right.
And so basically windows and doors.
Makes sense. Beautiful space. Let's keep going and we'll show some of these additional spaces. And then we got to meet Mason, our general contractor, here when we get to the upstairs. I think he and his crew are working upstairs. Look at his amazing organization going on here. This is really cool to see. I'm gonna have to ask him about these rolling carts. I like those. I'm gonna build some of those for my job sites. Way to go. So what's this room down here?
So this is a den for the clients and also going to be used as a guest bedroom, but in our product home, this actually could be the primary bedroom on the first floor, which is great for accessibility and aging in place. So we would take down these interior walls and add another interior wall over where we just came through, and that gives us the opportunity to have a bigger primary suite.
Yeah, this is great. I love it. A couple things I want to point out in here. If you look at this wall over here, we've got a bank of studs coming down that are these 2x3s, and this appears to be carrying that load from that beam above. Is that so that that beam doesn't need to pocket into that exterior wall?
Correct.
Yeah, that makes sense. And look at those big, probably Simpson structural screws that are basically lagging this into the structure beyond. And so that 2x3 is turning into like a wood column all inside. This is also cool. This we saw yesterday. That's probably that conduit that's in the wall from the factory.
Right.
They just cut the tape open, dropped it out, and they'll spray foam that later for air tightness purposes. And then you can see all the boxes fit in there perfectly. Like right here, electrician's got a big box, fits no problem in that service cavity. Those 2 wires will come into that box. It's really nice to see that service cavity and how well that worked. And then we're walking into a bathroom space here, it looks like, maybe?
Yeah, this is actually going to be an office in this current configuration, but we can change it later on and it can be a walk-in closet.
Oh, cool. And then here is the bathroom space beyond. So smart not to have that tub and shower on the outside wall. Let's keep that on the inside wall. Got a good Schluter system going. I'm a big fan of that as well. And then this is the mechanical space on the other side of this wall as well.
Correct.
It's just blocking probably for a mirror or
Yes.
medicine cabinet maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, gorgeous stuff. I am looking forward to meeting the GC on this project. Is Mason upstairs? Is that what I
Yeah,
heard?
let's go find him.
Let's go see if we can find Mason. That's Mason right there, I bet.
Yeah. Hey, Mason.
Hello, Amanda.
How is it going?
Good. How are you?
Mason, good to meet you, brother.
Nice to meet you, Matt.
Yeah, Matt.
Amazing work here, dude. This is really well done. I wanted to ask, while I've got the two of you together, what's the relationship like been between your team, Amanda, and Mason's team? Because you got a pretty big team too.
Yes.
Yeah, well, we've worked together actually on a few projects personally, but also within the company. There's been a few, and this is our life's work. It's our daily job, and so they bring a lot of joy to the process. There's a lot of peace in the process, and we really see each other as a team. I think that's really where that comes from.
And this is not your first project together, right?
Right.
No.
You guys have done what, 4 or 5 together?
Well, 2 with us.
Right.
HVP.
But
yeah.
with the company overall.
Yeah, this is our 5th.
And you actually built your own personal house that was at Bensonwood as well.
Yes.
And was that a Unity or was that an open home?
It was a Unity.
Okay, so you found an awesome Unity and did it all yourself.
Yes, and it was great experience, and it got me and the company together with Bensonwood.
That's
So
really
been
cool.
Good.
Yeah, I think we're aligned in our values, so that helps a
Yeah.
lot. We're both working for the same things.
I think there's a lot of smart builders, remodelers out there that don't have in-house design, or maybe they have some amount of in-house design, but being able to work with your team, Amanda, and do something that's this high performance, that's this cool, this is really neat. And by the way, I peeked through your plans over there. Super impressive. That's a thick set of plans with a lot of great details. So to think that your team's able to do that on a fixed price for this and really kind of move that process along, I bet your clients have not experienced decision fatigue on this project.
That's a good question, and in most cases, that's not happening.
But occasionally it does.
Occasionally it happens.
For sure.
yes.
It is a big
Yeah.
deal building a home, whether it's super
Yeah.
custom or whether there's some predetermined things in the house.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. I'll tell you what, can I steal Mason? I want to ask him a
Yeah.
couple under construction questions. I'll
Absolutely.
catch you in a minute.
All right, take care.
Hey Mason, let's walk over here. I was curious, I'm seeing these hold downs right here. How does this, when did this happen? What's happening here? How do you hold a house like this down to the foundation?
So this, when the Bensonwood setting crew comes, they drill and bolts are just through into the concrete foundation.
Okay.
And the hold downs are drilled, threaded rod, and epoxied.
So this actually came as part of the panel, right?
Yes.
And these screws were pre-installed, and this 3x3 is structurally attached to this panel. And so by putting this threaded epoxied rod in, this is what's actually holding the whole thing down. And there's probably some type of a column or a post in that position right there, right?
Yes.
That's cool. And then I'm
Yep.
seeing these, which I think are Titan HDs potentially, where you pre-drill those, but then those Titan HDs are kind of like a wood screw in a lot of ways. You don't
Yeah.
need epoxy for them. They go in really easily. Code officials love them.
Yep.
And they're also nice because I don't have to worry about putting J-bolts in the foundation.
Right.
And did I hear that this package took about 3 weeks to assemble with 2 Bensonwood people and your crew?
No, we had one person from our crew on it
Okay.
full time, but there were 3 or 4 Bensonwood.
Okay, so
and
that crew size might vary a little bit.
yeah, and it took really 2 weeks in February.
Wow,
in New
2
England
weeks,
to
not
do
bad
it.
at all.
Yeah, so
with not so great weather potentially even.
yeah, oh yeah, it was pretty ugly here for parts of the time.
I can imagine.
setting. Yeah,
There's a really magical thing about getting dried in that quickly that makes a huge difference. I think for the health of the building, not getting soaking wet on multiple occasions over multiple time. It also means you can get the trades in here and start, you could start rough ins for electrical and plumbing, 2-3 weeks after the foundation.
yes.
That's great. I'm noticing that black rain screen and some beautiful black siding. What's happening on that? That's your crew that's doing that, right?
That's my crew. Yes. Yep.
So you've waited for the penetrations to happen first. That's excellent.
Yes.
I've seen that mistake made by other people. That's not good. So he's gotten the plumber, the electrician, the HVAC guy first to penetrate, get those penetrations established. Then your team is coming out to do that black. What is that black siding, by the way?
It's Western red cedar.
Oh man.
Pre-finished.
Beautiful Western red. Yeah. Now you've done a couple Benson wood in the past. Will you work with these guys again in the future?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it went really well from your perspective. Amanda's not here. She's not listening.
I got to say it's the most satisfying relationship, architect, builder, that in 34 years of building we've had.
34 years Hudson Valley's been around. You started in 1991?
Yes.
Dang, I was graduating high school when you started this company. That's awesome.
Yeah. And
way to go, man.
We started in a recession too.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That was 91 was some hard years. There was not a lot of construction happening.
Yeah.
And here, all these years later, you come into a house like this. This is literally going to be around longer than our grandchildren are going to be alive. Yeah. And to get a 0.41 at the pre-mechanical blower door, I mean, this is an incredible house, man. You should be really proud to be building this fabulous house. I'll put a link to these guys below, Hudson Valley Preservation Corp. It's a fabulous team. 34 years in business, 9-person team. They do a lot of the work themselves. Man, so good to meet you, man. I really appreciate this. Let's go see if we can find Amanda. We'll wrap up the video here. Boy, it's a pretty day in Connecticut, but it rained like mad yesterday when we were in New Hampshire. The job site's not too bad, but we can see a few muddy spots for Mason and crew. This is a gorgeous house.
Thank you.
I really like it. And the two forms where you got this garage, we said it earlier, the garage a little bit shorter.
Yes.
You got that beautiful dormer pop out on that side. I really like it. It's beautiful. The thing I want to mention though that really gets me about you guys is you really, everything you build is so high performance. All the ductwork's in the conditioned space. When you go up to the second floor, the main house, you can see you've got this big attic space. You've got 2 mini split ducted units up there. You've got ERVs. You got this beautiful shell. We bring that fresh air when we need it. We filter it. We send it to all the bedrooms. All the building science is just naturally really good with you guys. And of course, I love this architecture too. You guys do a great job.
Thank you so much.
How can people learn more about what you guys do, Amanda, specifically on the open and the custom side of Benson Wood?
We can, of course, give us a call or check out our website. It's bensonwood.com.
That's pretty easy to get to.
Yeah.
You guys have been around a long time. It was really fun to hear Ted's story, how we got into the business. And you guys have been in business 53 years. In fact, you started in 1972, the year of my birth. So how fun to be a part of this really long-standing organization building fabulous houses. Guys, this has been another episode of How to Build Across America. We'll see you next time
On the Build Show.